Hey guys, welcome back to Triple C, Candace's College Cooking, where I have the privilege of teaching you, the 20-something crowd, the basics and hacks of cooking, as well as how to create restaurant-worthy creations to share with your roommates, your family, or maybe even a date. Today, I'm gonna show you how to break down a roast chicken. A roast chicken is a super efficient hack that I use all the time in my kitchen. This little guy, he's actually kind of a big guy. I got him at Sam's, yes, notice a trend here, for $5. Now you're gonna pay a little more if you buy one at a standard grocery, probably anywhere between $7 to $9, but I gotta tell you, they're super easy and really helpful in the kitchen. So, comes like this. You're gonna wanna take it out of its case. Now don't throw the case away because we're going to use all of that good, what's known as ghee, that's at the bottom. It's really, it's the fat and juices that have rendered off this chicken. All right, so I gotta be honest with you, you're gonna have to kind of get in there, all right? You might be a little hesitant because you're like, ew, chicken. Trust me, it's already cooked, it's not gonna hurt you, and it certainly won't bite you. So let's get in there. First, you're gonna take off this piece of elastic that holds together the chicken. It keeps it in shape. All right, so once we get that out of the party, throw that in the trash. Now, the way I typically do this is I'll take off the legs first. And depending on how well cooked your chicken is, they should break right off like that. That's one leg. It's actually the leg and the thigh. And that's also gonna be dark meat. So if you're really particular and you like white meat and don't like dark meat, or you want white meat for something special, not mixed with dark meat, you can certainly keep them separate. The other thing I'm gonna tell you is we're not gonna waste any of this chicken. Once we break it down, I'm actually going to put the bones and the skin into a pot of water, and I'm gonna boil that. And that's what I use to make chicken broth for you know who, everybody's favorite chocolate lab that isn't on camera today, but I'm sure when she sees me breaking down chicken, she'll probably be over here. All right, so as I break down the chicken, I'm gonna throw the bones into the pot over here. You guys can't see it, it's not on camera. You don't need to see it, but just know that any sort of fat or bones I'm throwing in there. All right, so next come off the wings. And you know, there's not a ton of meat in the wings, but there's still enough to eat. I typically will just break off the tip because you're not gonna get any meat out of that tip. Pull off, again, the skin, and let's just throw it in our pot of water over to the right. All right, moving right along. Once we get the meat off of the wings, I'll move back over to the thighs and the drumstick and deal with that. Okay, so I got all of the meat off of the wings. Now let's move on to these thighs and chicken legs. Again, all of the skin goes into the pot to boil for the chicken broth. And look, if you don't have a dog to cook for, perfectly okay. The chicken broth works just fine for us humans. All right, you can see I've broken off the drumstick. And again, you can also tell why I say you gotta get in there with your hands, because you can't get this off with a fork. You really just gotta get in there and take care of business. All right, that is most of the meat. And you wanna make sure you don't get like all of these sinews, and you certainly don't wanna get bone shards. So again, that's another reason to use your hands, because you can feel if there's a bone shard. All right, so give me just a couple of more minutes and I will get the rest of the meat off of the thighs and the drumsticks. I'll be back in just a second. Okay, so I've dealt with the wings, the thighs, and the drumsticks. And that's pretty much the dark meat on the chicken. So again, if you want to keep it separate, we'll just move this pile over to the front. And now let's look at the rest of the chicken. So I've got the breast and actually quite a bit of meat probably on the back. The back is likely going to be dark meat, but you know, and honestly a little fattier. So it tastes good, but you want to make a decision, again, if you want to keep your white meat and your dark meat separate. I don't, but you might. All right, so you can see I've peeled off the skin. Now I'm literally gonna just pull off part of the breast. Now, I can certainly use a knife to do this. My hands are pretty full of chicken, So I would need to stop and wash my hands, and I'm not really interested in doing that right this second. You can see it's not the prettiest of things, but honestly, I'm gonna chop this up and I'm gonna show you how to use it in a couple of different preparations, and it's gonna be input ingredients and it's already cooked and ready to go. So that's what we're gonna use it for. Grab a fillet knife, make sure it's good and sharp. Again, use your AccuSharp if you need to. You're gonna wanna cut down the center of this breastbone. So hopefully you guys can see that. And you'll see this meat is gonna peel right off. This is the way you wanna do it if you'd like to serve roast chicken for your dinner meal that night, as opposed to putting this in for ingredients for a quesadilla, which is what I'm gonna show you how to do in a few minutes or in the next episode. Or if you wanna make chicken enchiladas, this is the perfect thing to make chicken enchiladas. All right, I'll be back with you in just a second. Okay, time for the backside of the chicken. All right, a lot of times people would just throw this away or not use it, but I find that to be completely wasteful, and this chicken gave its life for us, so we are going to be respectful to it, and we're gonna use every bit of meat that we can get off of the bones. That means you're gonna dig in a little bit, as if you haven't already been digging in with regards to getting that breast meat and everything else put together. All right, so you can see there's some meat right here on the edges, and there's meat here in the back. You kind of have to get your nails in it a little bit. I know, not the most pleasant thing on the planet, but. And this thing will just break down pretty easily depending on how well cooked it is. And I mean if it's been cooked for like a long period of time, not that if it's not prepared properly. Geez, almost done. Okay, so we'll put this into our pot to create chicken broth. And my friends, that's the way you break down a chicken. Now, so hey guys, we've finished chopping up our chicken, and I wanna show you. All this is from that one chicken. 2 pounds of chicken meat for $5 that's already cooked for you. That's a pretty darn good deal. Hey, if you joined me in the challenge of making chicken broth out of the leftover bones and skin of the roast chicken that we bought and broke down, one last step. Here you go, you can see, doesn't that look really nice? Nice broth. So then what we do is we just pour it over a strainer with a big bowl at the bottom. This can get slightly messy. All right. And then lift up your strainer. Put that to the side, but make sure there's something underneath it, because likely some more juice and broth will seep out. And there you go. We've got probably 10 cups of broth, which is a little more than roughly 2.5 containers of chicken broth, which it could either save us between $2 and $5, so we might as well use it. Hey, thanks for watching Triple C. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to my channel, like, and share on social. And remember, to share a meal is to share a life. I hope you have an awesome day.